Welcome everyone, this is Federico42. I'm going to take you through a base building episode, actually two of them. It's been a bit of a while since I put together a base build video, and so I thought, let me make something that I wanted to make for a while, just haven't quite gotten to it. And as you can see, well, it is some kind of drop trap, and we're going to be expanding it also in a subsequent episode to a drop and catch trap to make it a little more interesting and putting in a little bit of technology into the build as well. Basically, zombies run in, try to get to you, fail, fall down the mountain. Ooh, isn't that nice? Well, maybe not for the zombies. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and if you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well and ring the notification bell so you get notified. Of course, I'm also on Discord, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm everywhere. Check the description for links to all these places. Your support is greatly appreciated. We're going to be hitting Alpha 19 before too long, hopefully, so the more support you show, the more videos I can make and the more fun we're going to have. But firstly, we're going to recognize a couple of Vedites in the Vedite Clubhouse. First one up, we have Skitsy, a new joinee, and let's see, where's he going to be sitting? We're going to give him a seat here to sit somewhere. Let's put him here. Thank you, Skitsy, for your very kind support on Patreon. Skitsy, I think is correct. Oh, except there's only 2 T's and 2 Z's. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. We also have Satis, who slides in as a Master Vedite, upgrading from being a Gamer Vedite to support and sponsoring one of the Ark survival servers. Thank you very much, Satis. So coming back to what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing the first part, the drop part base, a Blood Moon Horde base. Of course, it'll work as anything. And you are somewhat restricted. If you want to make it real effective, you do want to have a fairly high cliff with some kind of plateau so you get spawns there, and you want to have it, it doesn't have to be this sharp, actually it's just a little bit too sharp. You want to have a little bit of a gradual, but you want to have it go far down as well. That can be a bit of a challenge to find. I found a few different ones. I found a pretty nice one out in the snow biome, but it's a little bit difficult to be building there because it's so nice and white and snowy, and this is a little bit brighter as far as colors, so I'm gonna put it here. Of course, you can build it even if you don't have such a high cliff, but you do want to make sure you have a proper spawning behind it, or some gradual rolling hills that reach up so that when the zombies spawn, which is usually about 35 to 50 away, that they will be able to run towards you. Some of the mountains, like you can see off in the distance, are really jagged. These are not really that suitable because the zombies will probably get stuck unless you do some terraforming and just shaping things so they can reach you. So I'm going to do it here. Desert, it's not ideal. Problem being is that desert has a lot of sand. It doesn't have as easy access to stone, especially if you have such a sharp one, because the stone is going to be a little bit further in. But I'm going to make do anyway. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put just a little bit of a platform here. Let's do 5. Let's see, 5, and probably make it maybe 3 wide. Yeah, 3 wide will probably be good, just to sort of get somewhere to start off at. I also want to make sure that I anchor a little bit, so I'm going to go down a little bit here, and I'm going to put some metal pillars here just to make sure that they're still going to be standing, and like this. And I'll probably do the same thing here. Ideally, you want to go down to rocks, so it's resting on something solid. If you just have sand underneath yourself or snow, it's not going to be as effective because it could be wasted. And I'm going to put just a little bit of blocks around here. I'll probably shape it a little bit later to make sure that they don't get hit. So this is basically, these ones are going to be anchoring the rest of the base. And that's really important because you need an anchor in order to make sure that it doesn't fall off. Now these ones also provide anchoring, so that's also helpful, but however, I just want to make sure that I have something solid in case some of this get blown out. If you have a copse demolishers explode here, they're probably going to take out all the sand, so you don't really know if these ones are going to be remaining. And of course, you could dig down even further, but this should be okay for now. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to go out, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 should be alright. 5 steps to lure the zombies in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like this should be fine because you want to provide a path. Oh, it's a Blood Moon Horde. Let me just change a little bit. That's the good thing about being in God mode. I am in God mode because it's a little bit easier to build this without falling down all the time. You can do it without being God mode, but just have to have some scaffolding to sort of catch you if you fall, because that's going to be quite a distance down otherwise. I'm also in creative. Sometimes people ask me why I'm in creative. I should be doing the survival. And the reason I'm not doing this in survival because I would have to grind hours just to get the materials. And who's going to be watching that? That's very dull. All this can be built in survival as well. It's just a little bit more tedious and takes a little bit of extra effort. But the materials are all vanilla, basic survival blocks. Now on this side, I'm also going to be just shaving off a little bit here. And you can do that obviously just by putting some explosive or something or mining it out. It works very well with an auger, but obviously I'm using an admin block here. You see here where you need to anchor it. You just put it here on the sand, it will fall down. I'm going to put it further down here. Should be just fine. You just have to work out the anchoring depending on what material you have. You want to make sure that it's enough that it can hold whatever you're doing. You don't need necessarily a lot more than that. You know, you can probably just do a few of them. I just like to do a little bit extra just to be sure. I'm going to build out here, and the reason I'm doing this way should be apparent in just a moment. Now, let me just fill out this. Again, it just helps. All this is not necessarily needed, but it just helps to make sure that there is a little bit of extra structural stability. And I'm going to be doing most of this in reinforced concrete. Steel is probably better in some areas, and I probably will have some steel, and I'll probably switch that out and let you know. And here I'm going to be using the plate trick. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it's fairly convenient actually. What it's doing is that it's actually, these two are actually connected as far as structural capabilities are concerned, but the zombies don't actually see it that way. They see it slightly differently. They see it as being a gap, so they tend to avoid it. And that's what we want. They want them to go this way instead. So I'm just going to build up here, having a wall because you don't want them to come here. The gap is just extra. By having the gap here, they shouldn't be going here anyway, but I just want to make sure that they don't try to path across. And then I'm going to build up a little bit here. It's not going to be huge. It's going to be a fairly small base. You could make it bigger, but then you have to really worry about the structural capabilities here. And make sure when you're building this out that you're building it from the inside out. Keep in mind that everything out here has to be supported of what's in here. So these ones are now supporting all the way in here. So if you start building here, you might get a lot more weight. And as you reach in here and you haven't built up here, it's all going to be crumbling down. So this one is supporting this one, that is supporting this one, is supporting this one, and so on. You want to make sure you build it that way because otherwise you're going to have a bad time. And if you're standing here and you're not in God mode like I am, you're going to have a nice nasty fall. Gonna build up this one here. We'll probably do it like this, and then we're gonna put in some of these. Let's put on some poles. Poles are really nice because it allows you to actually fight through or shoot through depending on what you want to do. And again, everything is connected from here all the way out here, so that allows us to do, let's put one door, should probably be enough. Think so. Let's start with one door. Ew! Everything has not fallen down, and that's generally a good thing. You see here, it's 1, 2, 3 tall, which is good. So let me then do one more actually, because I want to have a ceiling. Let's copy rotation. Get this one as well. There we go. And they should be all nice and supported now. I might want to have some glass actually. Yeah, let's put on some glass. One challenge with the bulletproof glass is that it doesn't have a lot of structural strength, so it's not good for structural areas, but I think I should be able to get away with it here anyway. Let's do this. Should be just all right, I think. Maybe we do it that way anyway. And of course, a door. You don't want to make the door too strong. You don't want to make a vault door if you can avoid it, because that's a little bit too strong, which causes issues for the zombies. Right, and then we are going to put this one out one more. And do like this. And let me see, do I... Now this should be actually pretty alright. The downside is too far apart. I'm trying to avoid is that them staggering and falling, but if I do, let me try to switch this around a little bit, like this. Would this help? I want to make sure there's a path on both sides, otherwise they're just going to go here, which might still be the case. I probably want to switch that over. Now that I think about it, let's do it this way instead. Do it this. Out these ones. Okay, so they'll be coming here. This one. That. Give them a path like that. I think that should actually work. I think they should actually preserve their pathing. Not 100% sure. That is something, some of this you sort of figure out as you go along. The idea is that the wedges and the wedge tips actually still give them a path. They should be wanting to walk here and then fall down, even though they actually want to get over here. We put this here because again, these two are supporting each other, so that's not an issue. And these two, you see it looks like there's actually a gap, and there is actually a block gap in between. If you see the size of it, this difference, or the distance here is roughly the distance here, right? Actually exactly that distance. But because it's offset, these ones are actually touching each other. So from a structural stability, they actually touch each other and they support each other, which is really helpful. And here is just pure air, this block, which means they should not be pathing here. And we can build up this one just to make sure it's like that. Something like this. Now, obviously, this is not the most beautiful place, but we're not looking for beauty. We're looking for functionality. And let me take out this one a little bit. You have to be a little bit careful when you're doing these things. You don't take out something that will cause everything to collapse. So now, if I stop... Oh, yeah, exactly. So the idea is that the zombies, and we're going to put some ramps up here just to make it easier for them. Idea is that they will come here and they'll be running here and they'll be falling down and they'll be hitting the ground here. Now if you look here, if they fall down here, they might actually get stuck somewhere. So we're going to be working on that in just a moment. Other idea is that obviously that they want to get to here, and you'll be here safely inside the middle. Now you might wonder, how the heck do you get in and out? And we can actually, people always ask me that when I make these builds, they're like, how do you get in and out? Can you please tell me? And let's start by getting a hatch. Let's get this one. And let's get some ladders. Sometimes I put in a way in and out to show. Sometimes I don't because it's fairly trivial to do. Oh. Okay. It's that replacement button. So I put it down and then actually replaced it. And let me take out this one then. 1, 2, and 3. I was climbing and yep. Like this. Then we ourselves another block here. Right. So now we can get in and out. And then you can jump here. And if you wanted to, you could then put my ladder here as well. You can put like ladder or something like this because you can jump up here anyway and walk up. And just jump over here, whatever. Or you just have some other traption that allows you to get over here. It doesn't really matter. You just want to have a simple way in and out, and that would take care of it. But of course, we want to have a little bit of a light around here as well. So let me make sure I put in a generator here. And it's going to be needed more for next time, but I'll put one here anyway, just to make sure we have one. Let's put in some of this. Let's put a switch. Where's my switch? There it is. It's going to be just for the lights. We're going to be hooking it up very standard way from the generator to the switch, from the switch up to these ones. And of course I am glitching through the ceiling here because I'm in God mode. And let's turn this on. There we go. And now these ones should be working. Yes, correct. Yeah, should be all right. And now the big question is, does all this work now? And that's a really good question. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spawn in a couple of zombies here. Let me do... Look at me. Let's get some, not nurses. Let's get some cheerleaders. They're always really nice. And, yep. See, they are... I've stopped the AI here a little bit, just so we can see. And I'm going to start it again. They'll be running here. Oh, there you go. It didn't that work really well. We could do... we probably... Let's hope things don't fall down here. Where is my bulletproof glass? This way again, you have to be a little bit careful about where you place it, but I think I can. I think I should be able to do this. You see, they fell down all the way there, and now they are, you know, desperately trying to jump up and go somewhere. All right, let's get in a few more. They're trying to get to me, and they run down here, and oh, actually this works pretty well. I was wanted to have like a ramp that sort of shoves them outwards, but this works pretty well, actually, just by itself. But the basic shape of it is actually working just fine. Now the problem here is that when they fall down, and this, I wonder if this applies to me as well. They hit here and it takes some damage, but because they are continually being landing on something here, you want a way to shove them outwards a little bit more. And let's see how we can do that. All right, so to do this, I am going to anchor a little bit here. Make sure that this one is in here. We probably just need to bring it out like 3 or something. That should be probably good enough. They start falling here. So what we will do, we'll have something like build it up just temporarily. Yep, here we're going to be using the wedges and the wedge tips, which is pretty much exactly the same thing as we're doing here, and I'll show that. And the right way here, yes, correct. We do that one here, and then we're gonna put this one like this, right? You'll see they'll basically be shunted off. Let me not fly around. They'll be walking, running here, and then they'll be falling here. That's good. Extended one more on each side just to be sure that they don't get stuck here. Not entirely sure that's needed, but again, it doesn't hurt. You see now, if I run out here, actually I should put down a bedroll. Put it there. Yep. If I fall down, that's not what I wanted. But so they will be coming here, and they'll be falling down. And now they're probably, now they still don't go all the way out. So let's go one further then. I think that should be even better if they come here. Let's see if they slide down here, and much better, much better. And of course, if you want to make this, so you can make it even further out, but you know, I think that should be enough for now. For our purposes, do that. Should be good enough. You could make it even further if you want to really make sure they hit it all the way down there. They stop, yeah, they're still trying. Oh, they despawn maybe. Yep, despawn. They've been there for too long. So let's do this. Okay, let's take our entrance here. Or we put it in after all, and like this. And let's bring in a few. Come, run, and yep, slide down and all the way out. Yes, much better. The further down they are, the better. If they land here, they might start tunneling in. The further down they are, they have more pathing options because they're sort of down there trying to jump up and get up and everything, and that's what we want to have them do. So this is in fact what we want to have. Now if they come here, you could try to bash them, and if depending on how you build this one, if you build a platform further out, you might have a chance, but that's not really the main thing of what we're trying to accomplish. You can actually stand here and shoot as well, and I'll probably get a gun for the Blood Wound Horde, and you can get a little bit of experience here. They might start vomiting and everything, and that's something that we are going to be looking at next time. because you might want to avoid having such an open view here. The reason I want to have an open view is just so you can see when they're spawning. If I block off here with something like this, just a wall, it will cut down on vomit from cops coming from this direction, but of course then we won't be able to see as well. So let's put it, but you can actually just hide here as well, and this should be just fine. Like if I'm here, there's no way they're going to see it. Maybe the vultures, but yeah. So this is the basic thing, and you see how essentially how simple it is. It's just a small platform to help anchor everything. Small little house, air gap, just to avoid the zombies wanting to go through. Sometimes if you put solid blocks here, they decide that, hey, I'm just going to start bashing here to get through this way instead of running around. And this is just make sure that that doesn't happen. Depending on how you're building and what material you have, you might not need as much. But yeah, they'll run out here because they're trying to get to the door. Make sure you have a full path, and this is actually a full path, even though it looks a little bit weird. And have a door here. Don't make the door too strong, because then they might decide that they want to go somewhere else. And we have a long slippery slope here just to make sure that they fall even further and come out all the way down here. And these ones that are starting to despawn after some time, because they lose, because it's not a Blood Moon Horde, it's just normal feral, they're going to lose the scent, and they're going to be basically just wandering around. Simple, isn't it? This is just the first half, but let's try it for Blood Moon Horde. Next week, I'm going to be expanding this into a catch as well. So we're going to have a drop and catch trap. And why, you wonder? Well, we'll get to that next week. But for now, let's go have a look how this works for Blood Moon Horde. We have now the Blood Moon Horde is coming in, and they're spawning there. You see they're spawning on the platform. I have 32 concurrent ones. And though, why are there only 3? Oh, because they're not all... Oh. Aha. You see a problem here? I'm standing too close, I believe. I think they're deciding that, hey, they want to try to jump this gap instead, and that's why they're piling up here, which is something I wasn't actually quite considering. Oh, I was hoping it wasn't going to be an issue. Let me do this. Let me shift away here. I'm further away from the gap. All right, let's restart that, see if that makes them go around. Yep, see, now they go around because now they don't want to actually find and bash. I mean, that's something you have to take into account depending on how you build this one. They do want to jump a certain distance here, so if you stand too close, which is what I was doing, they decided, hey, if I bash through this wall and then jump through and then bash through this wall, I can get to him. Now, that's not going to happen because, well, now they're falling down instead. Let's try that again. See the zombies come here. Try to path across. Fail because they fall down, and, well, that's it. Whoa! Whoa! What the... That looked like he was just bouncing somewhere. I have no idea where they bounced. And they just run down and they, well, fall down. And even if they jump there, like you saw he did, he still fell down, slipped down. And you see they keep on spawning here. Really nice. Now, this is basically the design of it. And this is what you want to have happen. You want to find a good spot, so sometimes they seem to jump there, but that's all right. At some point, the zombies are... Oh, they do sometimes jump. That looks really good. Sometimes they will be obviously down there for too long, depending on how high you have this. Because the special, the radiated, will survive the fall without any issue at all. And right now they are still within a certain distance, which means they're not going to despawn that fast, and they're going to be down there. And you notice it stopped spawning up here. So really safe because all the zombies are down here. You'll see they're all here. They're actually not trying to break very much. Once in a while they are trying to break a little bit. Most of the time they're just trying to path up, and you see they're jumping. Some of them are bashing, but there's not a lot of digging going on because they're trying to path and get away up here. And that really depends on how the design is of the cliff that you're at. So as a drop trap, it works really well. You're going to be safe here for the rest of the night. You don't have to worry about them because they're down there. And actually I realized that since they're not going to really be spawning anymore here, I could actually stand up here and actually just snipe them. Oh, I need to reload some ammo here, and actually let me get some armor piercing. Because they're so far down, and it's fairly easy to just shoot them from up here. Something else you could do a Molotov, you could do some pipe bombs. Let's use some grenades, contact grenades, which are always good. Let's do that. Oh yeah. That's probably the easiest way because they're all going to be in one area. So just throwing down some of this probably takes care of a look at the experience. Let's do that. And let's throw down here. Oh yeah. Because the grenades don't do... And now they're spawning in again. So actually that works pretty well. And now he's going to be vomiting on me because he actually sees me. But that's actually probably a pretty good way of doing it. Now you can take care of them if they're stuck there. So the downside with this trap, the way I've designed it right now, is that you have to stand up here to shoot them down there because there is no other way. And that's really why I wanted to make this also a catch, where you don't just drop them down and shoot them or kill them like this, but you also have a way for them to get up. So we're going to be doing that next time. But for now, well, hopefully you enjoyed this small little trap. It is actually remarkably effective. And if you have your grenades, actually the pipe bombs would probably be the easiest because they're really easy to craft in bulk. Some Molotovs, and you can really get a lot of experience just doing this. And you are very, very safe. But that's it for now. If you do see them spawning down here, well, then you're just lucky. It can happen depending on how the spawning algorithm is. Now, because I've been moving around and shifting around, they decide they actually want to be spawning down at the bottom. And then, well, they start off at the bottom. You are going to be totally safe for the rest of the Blood Moon Horde anyway. But it's a little bit more boring. It's definitely more fun when they spawn up here. So I can stand in here, hide out for the Blood Moon Horde, and I'll be back next week with more improvements. See you then. Oh, here you come, Mr. Cowboy.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.